Welcome to my views and news. Some news stories for you from Ethiopia. Firstly, Ethio 360 journalists are facing serious problems. Their channels, one after the other, are being took off air. They create a new channel. The channel starts building some audience, and then it is banned. It is took off air. What is the reason why our Ethio 360 channels are being took off air? Secondly, viewers, Orthodox Church of Ethiopia a few hours ago at last spoke about the uh, conflict at a monastery in Debre Elias. For the last 5 to 6 days, we have been reporting about the siege of this monastery by Ethiopian security forces, and several were killed at the monastery in operation by security forces. So, what is church saying now? The monastery is in Gojam, where Abune Abraham is the archbishop. Thirdly, viewers, Human Rights Watch yesterday released a report about Western Tigray. Alarming contents of the report where ethnic cleansing is still continuing, HRW says. Firstly, viewers, Ethio 360 journalists are facing a sort of blackout. They create YouTube channels, but the channels are being blocked one after the other. Ethio 360 regional YouTube channel had massive following. I think it had more than 500,000 followers, but we saw that the channel was taken off air, and Ethio 360 was followed by Ethio 360 TV. Then they created Ethio 360 Studio 1. All were being banned. Ethio 360 Studio 2. Last night, Ayalio shared a link about the Ethio 360 Studio 2 YouTube channel. But even that link I tried to click and get to the channel, I could not. So even Ethio 360 Studio 2 is not available on YouTube. Ethio 360 banned, 360 TV, 360 Studio 1, Studio 2. I think 10 YouTube channels have been banned so far, created by these Ethio 360 journalists. They're working on Rumble now, on other outlets too, on other news medium, but obviously YouTube was their main source of contacting people in Ethiopia. And Ethiopian government accused them of being part of a campaign to destabilize the government, a campaign to topple the government. And after that, we saw that these accusations were leveled by the government almost a month ago, I think. And after that, one after the other, all Ethio 360 channels were blocked. What is the reason? Is it because of hacking, technical issues, or Ethiopian government complained to the YouTube authorities? I don't know what the reason is, but the journalists are finding it difficult to use YouTube as a medium for their journalist work, it seems. Secondly, viewers, Orthodox Church of Ethiopia at last spoke a few hours ago about what happened in Debre Elias. At Debre Elias monastery, Melka Selassie Unity Monastery, several people have been killed in an operation by Ethiopian security forces. Ethiopian security forces laid siege to this monastery. Debre Elias city government issued a statement 48 hours ago saying that some criminal elements were using monastery as a hideout. They were collecting weapons, they were buying weapons, they were giving military training to youth. Displaced people were being recruited. The monastery was being used as a staging ground for mobilization of armed fighters. And local government then sought the support of Ethiopian army. Ethiopian army surrounded the monastery. The siege went on for some time. The army made announcements. The fighters did not surrender. There was exchange of gunfire. In that exchange of gunfire, how many were killed? No one knows. Amhara activists on the one side say that dozens of Ethiopian army soldiers have been killed. On the other hand, they say that innocent Orthodox followers were attacked at the monastery by Ethiopian security forces. So there might have been Orthodox followers not armed at the monastery, but monastery was being used by Fano fighters reportedly. But no one has shared details of how many were killed. People were killed there. What are their identities? Who were they? Were they Fano fighters, innocent Orthodox believers, security officials? No details. Church spoke last night. Orthodox Church says it is aware of social media reports and reports by some news outlets about Melka Selassie Unity Monastery in Debre Elias. It is in touch. Church says it is in touch with relevant quarters. And it will share the results of the investigation with the people. Let's see when church shares the results of the investigation. And secondly, the church condemned attack on Christian people in RC, Ayo Wareda, where I think 4 were killed. I reported that 2 days ago. But overall, church statement is very calculated, very responsible. Church is not accusing anyone, maybe because monastery was being used by Fano fighters. Let's see, will church make the result of investigation public or not? We'll see. Thirdly, viewers, Human Rights Watch issued a new report yesterday about ethnic cleansing being committed in Western Tigray. This is second report by HRW. Before this report, HRW and Amnesty International issued a joint report last year, I think, about ethnic cleansing, detentions, torture in Western Tigray of Tigrayans. Now, the HRW says that ethnic cleansing is still continuing. Though peace deal has been signed in November, the two sides signed a peace deal, but ethnic cleansing continued in November and between November last year and January this year. Hundreds of Tigrayans were arrested. They were detained at some camps in Western Tigray. Then they were expelled from these areas which are under the control of Amhara forces to Sudan and to Tigray. And people have to bribe sometimes to go to Sudan or go to Tigray because they are kept in detention. HRW says that its report is based on remote interviews. It interviewed dozens of people who have been expelled by force by Amhara forces, Amhara authorities from Western Tigray. So HRW says that ethnic cleansing is continuing and in some cases detentions too. In its previous report, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International accused 3 individuals of being behind the ethnic cleansing, detentions, torture of Tigrayans by the authorities in Western Tigray. Uh, Damakazadu was accused. Damakazadu, head of deputy head of this area, deputy head of administration, head of security and peace. Secondly, Bale Ayalio was named. Again, in this report, HRW named the two individuals. HRW asked Ethiopian government to take action to hold these two individuals accountable for atrocities, for ethnic cleansing, for torture being committed against Tigrayans in Western Tigray. The issue is unresolved. It means that the authorities in Western Tigray, Amhara authorities, they are not in a mood, they're not willing to make compromise, they're not willing to hand over the territory to Tigray. They want to free the area from the presence of Tigrayans. They are opposing the return of Tigrayans to IDPs. Tens of thousands from Western Tigray are based in Shire, etc. And if you remember, a few days ago, Sadkan had said that the return of IDPs would start soon. But now, when HRW says that Tigrayans are being expelled from Western Tigray, so how can return of IDPs from Tigray, Shire, etc., to Volkai, Thumaira start? It's difficult because those who are living there are being expelled from Humaira, Volkai, Sagade, it seems. I think, Fuji.